a thought that I wanted to throw out there. All right, I got to get into serious mode now. I have a thought that I want to throw out there. I mentioned it a little while ago to staff in our staff vibe that we do in the mornings, but it's really kind of stood out to me. So my nephew, Lion, I'm stressed right now. This is making me nervous. My nephew, Lion, plays baseball. And I don't know if y'all have like little kids, but when you watch them play baseball or basketball, it is wild because they all just, it doesn't matter where you place them, right? They may be, hey, you're at first base. You stay at first base. Even if the ball goes to third, you stay at first. But what does every little kid do
Tell us.
when the ball is hit? They run to the ball. They leave their position. They run away from where they've been placed and they run towards where the ball is. And what that kind of got me thinking is how often we do that in life. What I mean by that is God will place us in a position. This is where I want you. This is where I have you. Stay planted. And we're waiting. And we're waiting, and the ball is hit to everywhere else, it feels like. Everyone else is getting the opportunity. They're getting the financial blessing. They're getting the blessing with family. They're getting married, and you're waiting at your position like, when is the ball going to come to me? And what happens so often is that we've waited for so long that we start just like little kids when they're playing baseball or basketball, we start running to the ball. Wherever the opportunity seems to be, we start running towards it, right? Oh man, it seems like this other job is where the opportunity is. I'm going to run away from the position I've been planted in. I'm going to run away from that to where it seems like the ball is. Man, I'm going to run away from the church I've been planted in because it seems like there's an opportunity. It seems like there's something I want at this other position. And you know what's interesting? You never seem to catch the ball there, because that ball was meant for someone else who's been planted in that position. And what often happens, and we've had this conversation before, Pastor Nick, what often happens is in your transition, when you leave where you've been planted to run after an opportunity somewhere else at another position, it's in that moment that the ball finally comes to you, but you're not there to grab it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that thing that how many times have you seen someone right when they leave a role, a position, a family, whatever it may be, because they've been waiting too long for a blessing? It's right when they leave that blessing comes.
Yeah.
And I think that's a reminder. Wherever you're at today, whatever you may be, finding yourself doing, and maybe you're in a season where it feels like you've been waiting on that ball to come to you for a long time. You've been waiting for that opportunity. You've been waiting for that moment, that raise, that promotion, that spouse, those kids, whatever it may be. And it feels like, man, I've been waiting for so long and this ball has gone everywhere else. Maybe I need to figure this out on my own. Maybe I need to expand. I need to, start making my way over to second base, over to third base. Even though I've been planted, God has me placed at first. I'm starting to lose faith that the ball is ever going to come my way. I'm starting to lose faith that this opportunity is ever going to come my way. And as we start making our way over, that's when the opportunity, that's when the blessing comes. I don't think that is God being evil or trying to play a cruel trick on us.
Yeah.
I think that's the reminder that, man, he blesses perseverance. So wherever you're at, I encourage you, stay in it. I may not know what you're going through. I may not know the specific circumstance. I might have never gone through a situation like that before. But I think the only question you need to ask yourself, not what makes more sense financially, not what makes more sense for my family even, but where has God placed me? Where has he planted me? And if that's where he has me, there is no good reason to leave. None. You got to trust that eventually that ball is going to make its way to you. And you are going to be grateful and thankful that you waited for it. It's going to be so much better, so much greater than you could ever imagine. But it's just a shame because you see so many people miss when the ball finally comes to them because they just weren't willing to wait. I remember, I won't mention the name, but many years ago, There was someone who was serving in youth, really wanted a job. They just weren't willing to wait any longer, and eventually they left. And it was literally the next week where my boss came to me saying, we're ready to pull the trigger and hire them. And I had to say, hey, they've tapped out. They left. And just what a shame. The very thing that they were waiting for, the very thing that they were hoping for, they missed out on because they weren't in their position. Yeah. They started to float to other positions thinking that the ball was never going to come to them. So nothing crazy, like I said, but it's just something I've been thinking about a lot because I think it's so easy to get discouraged. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're waiting on your opportunity. You're waiting for your moment. And it's just easy to feel like, man, this is just not going to come. Yeah. This is, I've missed it. I'm in the wrong place. And it's, you know, it's funny because when you're on the outside looking in, we're getting a little introspective here, but that's fine. That's what SNL I feel like is for, is to have, absolutely, you know what I mean? Like a little more conversation based. But when you're on the outside looking in, it's in your mind, it's like you're quitting. It's very like black and white. Yeah. But when you're in the position, it's really easy to fully convince yourself that God wants you to move. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like in your mind, if you've ever quit anything, which I would assume all of us have quit something at some point in our life. Maybe it's working out, maybe it's eating right, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a church, whatever it may be. If you've quit something, there was some reason you talked yourself into it. Yeah. Because as humans, I don't think we can live in contradiction where we know what we should do and we choose to do the opposite. I don't think we can live like that forever. We may be able to do that for moments, but eventually something's going to give. Either we're going to live with what our belief is, or we're going to change our belief to match up with the way we're living. Yeah. And I just think that if we can keep that belief that this is where God has me, there's no question about it. I'm not allowing that thought to change. This is where he's placed me. I'm not leaving until that ball comes to me. Yeah. I'm not leaving until that blessing. I'm not quitting until God provides. Yeah. You know, the way that Pastor Troy has said it many times is in the toughest times, he's just told himself, one more day. I'm just not quitting today. Yeah. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll think about it tomorrow. And, you know, I think that's biblical when it talks about let tomorrow worry about itself. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm focused on today. Today, I'm going to give it my all. Today, I'm not going to quit. Today, I'm going to love my spouse. I'm going to love my kids. Today, I'm going to show up early, you know, go home late. And I think with that attitude, eventually, that ball will come make its way to you. That opportunity will make its way to you. So any thoughts on that? Anything to add?
I think even like thinking about the game of baseball, I think many people sit on the bench expecting the ball to come to the bench. When in reality, you got to get out on the field, right? There's some confidence in going out on the field. You may get hit by the ball. You may get hurt by someone sliding onto your base. There's going to be different situations in life that may hurt, but I think there's a level of confidence you need to have to get off the bench, right, into the game as well when you think about this game of life. And I think many people expect, even many Christ followers expect, hey, the ball's going to come to me while I'm just sitting on the bench. You see, there's a level of action that's required. You have to play the game in order to see any reward in it. And so many people think, okay, I'm just going to sit here and the opportunity is going to come to me. Or I'm going to sit here and the blessing is going to just magically come my way. But there is a level in your relationship with God, right? There's action that needs to be taken. There's obedience that needs to happen in order to see anything come to fruition within our relationship with him. And in normal life, right? God's created that principle throughout the rest of life as well. You need to take some sort of action. You need to play the game in order to experience the reward of it.
Absolutely. Well, and, you know, I think about there's a common like thing that will happen in practice for baseball where the coach will hit grounders to all the different infielders and you know, some pop flies to the outfielders or line drives. And he wouldn't hit with the same power for every player. Yeah. It depended on their capability. What could they handle? And I think in the same way, every opportunity doesn't look the same. Yeah. And it's really easy to look and see, well, how come they got this much of an opportunity and I only got this? Yeah. When in reality, for me, I think the mindset has to go to, well, why am I not prepared for that? What do I need to do to be able to handle that kind of blessing, that kind of opportunity? So I hope that spoke to somebody. I
Yeah.
hope it impacted somebody. Like I said, it's just something that I've been thinking about a lot when it comes to opportunity, because it's so easy to convince yourself that it's not going to happen, that it's just not going to happen. So I encourage you, stay in it. Do not quit. Keep running after it.